This online lecture covers ways for you to edit documents written by yourself or by others. Proofreading a document requires the writer to carefully read the document, looking for errors. Proofreaders pay attention to the structure and content of a document. Editing is different than proofreading. Editing identifies corrections in a document, commonly using proofreaders' marks or editing marks. Since a writer revises and rewrites a document, the writer should edit the document before distribution. Here are some ways for you to edit your own document. If possible, put the document aside for as long as possible. This will help you lose some familiarity with the topic and the content, and particularly paying attention to the sentences and paragraphs. To help you find errors more easily, you could read the document backwards to disrupt the flow. So start with the last paragraph and read forward. It would also help you to read a document out loud to hear language that is wrong. Other techniques allow you to view the whole page on a screen and read it and edit it that way. Or lastly, to just print a hard copy of the document to edit. These strategies are slightly different for when you edit someone else's document. Before you edit someone else's document, you need to ask a few questions. What is the purpose of the document? Who is the audience? And what should you pay attention to when editing? Here are some additional tips that can help you successfully proofread and edit a document. Read the document in its entirety out loud or quietly to yourself. Then reread the document and start identifying the errors and make corrections and margin comments for the writer. And because you are likely to use Word to compose your assignments, it's crucial to understand all of Word's features for editing. I am going to walk through an example for you of how to use Word's features for editing someone else's document. This is really important for you to follow when you do proofreading of someone else's email, memo, technical instructions, cover letter, resume, and other assignments. Here's a document that I'm going to show you how to edit using the tracked changes and comment features in Microsoft Word. It's important to understand that I am editing this document in Microsoft Word version 2010 on a Mac computer. However, these same functions are available on a PC. They just may be located in a different place in your Word program. The first thing you want to do is go and find the review panel that allows you to turn on track changes and to make comments about sections of the document. Next, I want to give you a little bit of information about the document. This document was written by an undergraduate enrolled in a technical writing course. The student wanted to write a set of instructions for children who are in 4-H and learning how to halt or break a steer so that the child could show at a county fair, state fair, or in a stock show in Texas. Now what I'm going to do is walk through the article and show you some of the common errors made and then how to correct these errors. The first error that we find is that steers is capitalized, and that is a common noun that should be lowercase. We also see this phrase has the opportunity to be very tough. It is unnecessary information or too much information in the sentence and can be condensed. We could just say halter breaking show steers is a tough thing to do. We'll insert a comma before the but because this is a conjunction that combines two complete sentences with a comma. We also have a subject pronoun disagreement in the next sentence. If someone is singular, and the pronoun they is plural. In writing a set of technical instructions, you could just use you as the subject. If you want to learn about halter breaking a show steer, you can learn here. The best show steer in the world can be lost if not properly trained and halter broke. We will add an and, a D for the word and. It's important that you do not rely on spell check because and is a word in our English language, but in this situation we need and. It's also important to know that we do not need the comma. You would use a comma if the sentence started with the word if. If not properly trained and halter broke, comma, the best show steer in the world can be lost. And that's because this sentence would become a dependent clause. If it comes in the middle of a sentence, you would not use a comma. We need to check that all of our headings are consistently formatted when you edit someone's document. Here, we see it's lowercase, but here we see it's capitalized. Let's go ahead and capitalize it. Legal information. Read this paragraph to see if there are any errors. We did find in the second sentence an unnecessary modifier that we can delete. However, this does seem redundant, so that we could make a comment and say, these sentences are similar. Could you condense the information? And that would be making the information more concise. We'll look at this next paragraph here, and we see materials has a semicolon. It actually needs a colon. And then we want to check that every single item in the list of materials is written consistently. Now, it's important to note that the first letter is capitalized, the second or more letters are lowercase. Here, final bloom oil is a proper noun and must remain capitalized. But show stick is written incorrectly and is two words. You'll see that by entering a space, it will insert this little dash symbol for you. We need to format this heading here by bold facing it and adding the word S because we have multiple steps. Now I'm going to scroll down the page so that you can see all the steps on that page more easily. Let's look at some of the edits that we need to make to these first 7 steps. We can actually delete them because it's this here and just say where the nylon halter can be put on. That air is a pronoun disagreement. Them is plural, steel is singular. Step 2 has no errors. We have no errors. And step 3, no errors in step 4. No errors in step 5. We could delete the word completely if we think that it would not ruin the context of that step. It could be considered an unnecessary modifier. We can say rinse him off with the water hose. And then apply soap and scrub him with a scrub brush. Wash the soap completely out of its hair. Its, meaning it is, because it has an apostrophe here, would be incorrect. We would need to change that. We have the pronoun being him, so we should say completely out of his hair. Let's scroll down to the next page and look at the other steps in this set of instructions. For step 8, we say comb the steer's hair. This should be possessive, and that you add an apostrophe after the R. It's one steer. If it was plural and there were more than one, then the apostrophe would come after the S. Step 9, we see that we need to capitalize final, bloom, oil. We also have an issue in which we have an unnecessary space, and we need to close that gap by hitting the delete button or the backspace button. We have another situation here, in that we have 2 steps presented in step 7. And if you read, each step before that is with only one step for the child to do. So what we should do is hit the enter button here and create a new step. This changes how many steps need to be repeated. So instead of saying 9, we need to say 10. This paragraph here is an explanation for step 11. It generally adds other information that is good for the reader to know. So let's take a look and see if we find any errors. We find that we have transformed 2 words, process, showing. Instead, what we should say is showing process. So I'm going to come here, highlight the word showing. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to come in front of process. I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to read the conclusion and see if we have any errors. We could say you should see a noticeable difference in your steer. You are now well on your way to becoming a show champion. Y-O-U''RE is you are. What we should say is Y-O-U-R. Now you have an idea of how you should proofread not only your own work, but your peers' work. This is an important step for when you do the peer review projects for all of your major writing assignments. This document is also available for you to download in our online module for Chapter 10.